Hi, everyone. Welcome to the volunteer briefing for the 2025 Cairns 50 Community Running Festival. First of all, just a big thank you to all of you for offering up your time this coming week and to help out in whatever capacity. We really appreciate it. And obviously, an event like this doesn't run without you and your help. So a big thank you to all of you. I'm just going to take hopefully less than 10 minutes of your time now to get through this briefing and make sure that you are as prepared as you possibly can for this weekend. The first thing I'll say, though, however, is to make sure that you read this and check this yourself. And then if you have any questions, send me an email, send me a message, give me a call and ask. You're better off asking beforehand, and then rather than waiting until the weekend when I'm going to be pretty busy and might not be able to get to you as quickly. Firstly, check your role. So on these first couple of pages, all of the roles over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure you have double checked exactly what your role is. And besides the role, it also has the times that we need you. So, for example, athlete check in on the Saturday afternoon for the 5:21 and also the 50:30 and 10 between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. or 4 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. Your name is there so you know what you're doing and when you are doing it. Also, please, if, for example, you are starting your role at 4 p.m., we highly recommend you arrive 5 to 10 minutes early, because when you arrive at the event precinct, you need to head to the main control tent and check in with Kalira. Kalira is managing our volunteers again this year, and then she'll provide you with any extra information, any extra gear that you might need for your role. This is for everyone except for the aid stations. Aid stations, you go directly to your aid station. All the other volunteers, you come to the event precinct first and check in there. The schedule is here. Obviously, the most important thing for you is knowing what time your role is and where you need to be, but you have a look at the schedule of events so you know exactly what's happening when. The Saturday afternoon is going to be a lot of fun with the kids' events, the family 5K, and all of the other activities, and then, of course, the big day on the Sunday. But let's get into some of the really important stuff, and the first one of those is communication. As you know, I'm the race director, and then we have a couple of key staff members that are helping out this weekend. So Peter is in the control tent, and she is your go-to for many, many questions, whether it's about the athletes, the schedules, whatever it might be. Salome is managing our aid stations and recovery area. So if you're in recovery or if you're at the aid stations, she's your main point of contact. And then for all of our other volunteers, Kalira is your main point of contact. And this year we have First Aid Academy facilitating our first aid. So if there are issues with athletes out there on course or first aid emergencies, then they are our point of contact there. So in terms of how we communicate across the course and across the days, our number one mode of communication is WhatsApp. So in the email that I sent you that included the link to this video, I've put my phone number and asked you to text me so that I can add you to the WhatsApp group. Some of you I would have already added because you've been part of our volunteer crew previously. But that is our number one mode of communication. So anything that comes up that you need to pass on to us, and you might be at an aid station or you might be at a role further away from the event precinct, put it in that WhatsApp group so everyone can see it. So I will see it, Peter will see it, Slomey will see it, etc. And then we can manage it from there. If it's an emergency though, put it in the WhatsApp group, but also give the relevant person a phone call. First Aid Academy will also be in that WhatsApp group. So for medical emergencies, they will also be on radio so they can communicate with each other that way. And if there's anything significant, please make sure that we know about it as soon as possible. So talking emergencies, as I said, the first aid team will have an ambulance essentially stationed at the rocks. We'll have someone out on a scooter or bike on the course and a couple at Glenoma Park. And then emergency access, we have emergency access at Glenoma Park to a couple other spots along the path there if we need to get a vehicle into the course at all. But essentially the procedure, if there is an emergency, we want you to inform a staff member, whether that's me, Peter, Salome or Kalira as soon as possible, or it might be the first aid team as soon as possible. And then either you or that staff member will make contact with me depending on the situation, put it in the WhatsApp group so that everyone is aware and we can manage it appropriately. And then we'll work on that situation from there. By all means, if you are in a situation where you need to call 000 to get someone to an emergency, then please feel free to do so, but also ensure that you inform our team as well. But in the end, all emergencies, the final responsibility comes down to me as the race director. So you need to make sure that I'm aware. Travel and parking. So Glenoma Park is closed. There's no there's no parking in Glenoma Park. So you either need to park at Brinsmead Park Reserve, which is our temporary car park across the road, uh, or you can catch the bus. So if you want to catch the shuttle bus, let me know and I'll set that up for you. Make sure that when you arrive, as I said, you check in with Clear, and please, before you leave your role, check out with Clear so that we know that you're safe, we know that you're finished, and we know that you are no longer working with us. Clothing, it's going to be hot and humid. We're talking early 30s as max temp and very humid, probably a little bit of rain. So make sure that you wear appropriate clothing. Enclosed shoes, shirt, hats, sunglasses, sunscreen, and make sure that you are on top of that. That also means bringing a water bottle and keeping hydrated and eating plenty of food. Read through this volunteer briefing, double check your role, and there will be food and drink available on the Saturday afternoon and the Sunday morning. We'll also have some coffee cards for you guys with coffee your way, so you can grab yourself a drink. In terms of the event precinct itself, if you are checking in, that little blue square is where you check in. That's the control tent. As I said, there's no parking there except for in emergencies or for our event staff. The course maps are also in here, so you can take a look at exactly where the courses are and where they go if you choose to. But the most important part for you guys is then these detailed volunteer roles. So at the back end of this volunteer briefing is every single role, exactly where you need to be, the times you need to be there, what the role is, how you communicate and who you communicate to, and any safety issues. So, for example, if you are doing athlete check-in on the Saturday, Sunday, then it has the times that you need to be there. It has the location that you need to be. It has your role, checking in athletes for the Saturday afternoon or the Sunday morning events, etc. Who you need to communicate with. In this case, it's myself or Peter, and her phone number's there as well. And then safety, what you need to wear, what you need to do. The only thing that's a little bit different from that is the aid stations. So for our aid stations, this is for Sunday aid stations. If you're doing the Saturday aid station, you still come to the event precinct. For our Sunday aid stations, you go directly to your aid station. So, for example, those that are doing the Rocks aid station, your location is the Rocks Reserve. You go straight there. Your time on the Sunday is there. It's 5:05 a.m. You will check in with Salome there at that time, and you will help her set up that aid station. And then your role is listed there, all the things you need to do. The one thing that our aid stations do need to be aware of is that we are a cupless event. It is expected that all of the athletes out there do provide a soft flask, a cup, a hydration vest, or some way for them to access water. There are emergency cups at the aid stations, but they are only there for an emergency or if someone desperately needs one. Otherwise, it is the responsibility of the athletes to have their own cups. The other thing with the aid stations too, last year we had some athletes dropping nutrition at aid stations to use later. That is not allowed. That counts as outside assistance. The only things that you guys can help them with is the things that are at the aid station itself. And then if someone comes into the aid station and they require first aid, onto the WhatsApp group, let us know and we'll get the first aid team there as soon as possible. And then at the end of your role, your job is to help pack up that aid station. Salome will come through with the van and help you pack all that up. And then your job is done. There's also maps there of where you access your aid station, the aid station layout. And then if you have any questions, please ask. And then finally, on Sunday afternoon after the event, we have our presentations. All of our volunteers are welcomed, and I would love to have you all there. 4:30 p.m., Cairns Harbourside Hotel on the Esplanade. We're there for a couple of hours with presentations for our first, second, third across the events, as well as heaps of food. So please come along, and there's some lucky door prizes. And last year we gave out some free entries to as lucky door prizes to many of our volunteers. So please come along. In the meantime, if you haven't sent me, or if I don't have your mobile number, please send me your number and name. I'll add you to the WhatsApp group. If you have any questions, send me an email, send me a text, give me a call, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you this weekend. Thanks again.